Big Al. Well, first of all, Bobby, Big Al, Little Al, and whatever the Gallus race team was doing. And wow, it's almost time for Indy again. I'm getting that bug. Yeah, I used to get on the airplane and look forward to landing in Indianapolis and getting in my rental car, driving up 16th Street to the big track. Wow, what a feeling. I'll never forget the first time I was at Indy. I didn't know where to go, what to do. And I went to the motel where the Gallus team and the Unzers stay every year. And there, there I got special treatment. Henry T is here. Show him around. Take him to the track. And they showed me everything. They even got me a room there, and rooms were sold out that close to the track. I'll never forget it. On racing day, on race day, they got special treatment from the state police, their own little, what do they call it? I don't know what they call it, convoy. And they go the back streets into the track, and they allowed Henry T to be the recipient of part of that special treatment. And then they'd get me inside the track, and I had my badges and all that. And I'd go into Gasoline Alley, and there I got to meet the famous race drivers and car owners like Roger Penske, A.J. Foyt, can you believe it? Parnelli Jones. It's that time of year again. Next weekend with the time trials, I'll really miss it. Might be so compelled that I might go back again just for old time's sake. What a show. Man, 18 races. Can you believe that? And that's why racing is so special to Henry T. You know, today we have a guest that I maybe it's risky for anybody, but here's a man that has zero enemies. He's our special guest today. He treats everybody with love and respect, and everybody does the same to him. He works at his job so diligently. He pays attention to detail when he's doing his job. He does it thoroughly, and he does it with all his heart. He's a teacher, he's a coach, educator deluxe. And I'm happy to football coach, former quarterback. This guy has done it all. Not quite. His greatest days, in my opinion, are in front of him. You've heard his name, you know him well. I know him as a friend, as a coach, and maybe this is no kidding. The greatest motivator, inspirational leader I've ever met, especially in his profession. He's got that gift of gab, he's got the heart mixed with the vocabulary. I mean, he is sensitive to people's needs, and I mean, he'll get so fired up. Maybe a kid scores a touchdown. It means so much to this guy. Tears would come down his face when he's talking to his team at halftime. They're down by a touchdown, and he brings out one of those special inspirational speeches. Man, he can take a team from ground ground bottom and take them as high as a human being can get emotionally, because he's got that special gift of inspiring people. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our special friend. We love him like a brother, Ralph Judge Chavez. He's got all these names, but I just call him Coach because of the endearing meaning of coach and he's so endearing to all of us because of who he is. Coach Chavez, how are you, buddy?
Doing good, Henry. How are you? Thanks for all the nice words.
That's how we feel about you. But you know what? We're going to talk to you today because you had to do all of that for yourself recently and lean on close friends and family to get you through a very difficult situation. Before I go to that subject matter, I just want to know what's in your heart, what's in your brain, what are that emotional helping hand characteristic that you carry? Where did it come from?
Well, I was raised by a great family, great parents, older brothers. But I think a lot of people who have a special gift, I think it's God given. I think God wants you, in my case, to be a leader, wants me to touch people's lives, to be an educator. And I took that path, and I think maybe God wanted me to do that and pass on some of the gifts that I have, and I've enjoyed doing it, you know, all my life. I'm going back to elementary school. I was kind of a leader on the playground. I was in a band. I was the leader of the band. Um, I've lived in the same neighborhood. I'm the leader of our neighborhood um, um, watch for the crime and stuff. I'm an usher at my church. I mean, I've always just taken a role of being a leader, and not for any personal gain, just because I've always wanted to help people. I was, like I said, born in a great family that taught me how to do things right, and again from there, I've tried to pass that on and just try to be a leader of people, and I try to do things right, and hopefully people can see that and follow my leadership. And when I got into education, obviously you're a role model to teach to kids, um, and then in coaching, definitely a role model. And as I've gotten older, I'm on the board of directors for the New Mexico High School Coach Association. I'm the president of the Albuquerque Metro Association. And again, there's no money involved in that. I'm not doing it for a title. I just now at my age want to be a role model for young upcoming coaches because I had so many of them when I was a young coach.
Wow. Well, very thick in your personality, and we appreciate it. We all lean on you. You don't know, I bet you don't even know how many times friends call you because they're down in the dumps and they just want to hear the judge. And after that conversation, they're no longer down in the dumps. I stood out a locker room when your team was down 20 to nothing, 14 to nothing. And then I watch you at halftime, and then you win the game by shutting out the other team in the second half, and you win 31-14, or you win 40-21. You turn it inside out. I've watched the magic, and we all take notes on how you do it, but we can't do it like the judge. Recently, Coach, you had to motivate and inspire yourself, and maybe one of the toughest experience you'll ever face in life you faced recently. I don't know quite how to start this story, Coach, except to maybe generalize and then you can be specific. Somebody very close to you, your significant other, got sick, she got ill, and she went to heaven. She You didn't plan on it. She didn't plan on it. It happened. And it happened in the last year. I'll leave it there and you can take it from there. It's a sensitive subject, but I know that we, the audience, are going to get a great deal out of hearing your story regarding this very hurtful experience. You're on stage, Coach. Go ahead.
Well, Henry, when this whole pandemic started, I remember telling our kids, you guys need to make sure you're not going to parties, you're not going to big gatherings. And, I would tell them, even for holidays, I can't tell you how to run your family life. I can't tell your parents how to, but really be careful going to, everybody for Easter or Christmas or whatever birthday parties. They gather at their homes, but this pandemic was something very serious. I know when it first happened, a lot of people thought it was a joke. A lot of people still do think, and a lot of people don't take it serious. Um, my loved one and I took it very serious, and we didn't go anywhere. We went to work. Um, I live around the corner from my mother, who's 96 years old. We go feed her at night, but we stayed home. We didn't go to restaurants. We didn't go anywhere. And, she ended up testing positive, and I ended up testing positive. And thank God that all I had was a cough. I had nothing else. And she didn't really have any symptoms. Um, and then the Lord wanted her and took her. So I guess the message I want to send to people is this thing is real and it's not gone away yet. I've been fortunate to get my shots, to get vaccinated. Um, People are still dying. Over 500,000 people in this country have died. Someone told me yesterday, I think it's been 3 million people have died across the world. So I guess the word I want to send to people is this thing is real and it hasn't gone away. Still wear your mask, take your precautions, and hopefully there'll be a day when this thing is gone.
Judge, faced with a situation like you were faced with, and I know it's a very emotional, hurting time for you, but how do you deal with that? Is there any plan? Is there a book? Is a chapter in a book somewhere that can write your script every day? How do you handle that sort of a personal loss?
Well, Henry, I've always lived my life that the glass is always half full. It's never half empty. And I miss her very much. But instead of saying that she's gone, I like to think about the times we spent together. So when I do miss her, I remember how much fun we had together, how much we loved each other, how much we took care of each other. Um, and that's what gets me through because it was a beautiful relationship. Um, and I'll never forget her, obviously. But, the one thing that we all know in life is that we're all going to die someday. Unfortunately, she left too early. But, life goes on and I'll always cherish her and think about her the rest of my life.
Wow. Every time I talked to you and you were with her, you were sky high with this judge fun attitude. Man, everything was golden. You smiled with your voice all the time. But, that's just your character anyway. But especially when she was making a meal for you or you were having a lemonade out on your patio. I mean, you were remarkable. You were on fire with that great personality. She really touched your life.
Well, she spoiled me. She took very good care of me. She was the daughter that my mother never had. Um, she loved me coaching. She was a big part of it. She was proud of me. And, I like to feel that I've had a great life. And she made it better because I had someone to share it with. And that was the best thing about her. We tolerated, no, I shouldn't say tolerated, we accepted each other's lifestyles. She loved being part of the coaching fraternity. Um, she loved my friends because I get a lot of company. I have so many friends. She loved being a part of all that, and I loved her being a part of it with me because for so long I did it by myself, and I finally found that perfect partner, and life was great. It was great, and like I said, I'll cherish those moments forever.
Reiterate for us, if you don't mind. You really talked to where you hit us hard to be more conscientious, self-conscious about our hygiene and what we do, a mask and separate ourselves at least 6 to 9 feet away. I mean, you really took it serious before this happened, but you really hit it accurately when you said that we don't, as a society, even to this day, after hearing, like you said, 3 million people across the world, it took their life. Albuquerque's figures are down, or the state's figures are down. The governor's been very, very tough on all of us regarding what we could enjoy and what we could not, the athletic events, education, whatever. But reiterate to us about getting serious again. We watch 2 different networks on the news at night, or 3 or 4, and we're getting different messages in these different places. Give us the accurate message, the one that counts today, about how serious we should take this.
Well, I hope nobody has to experience what I did and other people have lost loved ones. But um, I think anybody who has had any association with someone who has passed from this COVID, I think they understand how serious it is. And I really don't like talking about her and her situation because, it's a personal thing. But the reason I do talk about it is because I want people to know how serious it is. It is not a joke. People are dying every day and they're still dying. And, I know the numbers are down, but if one person dies, that's one too many. So until the day people quit dying from this, I will always speak publicly to anybody about how serious of the disease this is, or a virus that this is. And, we got kids back to school 2 weeks ago, and I constantly talk about it. I don't talk about her because I don't want people think I'm using her and myself as a martyr for someone to feel sorry for me. But I want them to know people are dying. And if we don't continue to try and do things right, more and more people are going to die. And, our kids have been real good about wearing their masks. And, we can only do so much social distancing in a school. I mean, kids are going to walk through the hallways. Kids, they're kids. They want to be with each other. But in the classroom, we have them separated. Um, our administration has done a great job. In the cafeteria, they get their lunch and they take it out, so they're not sitting there together. But I think our society's done a great job of making a plan. Going into the grocery store, you have to wear a mask. You've got to stand so far apart. Going to the bank, I think everybody's done a great job of trying to promote safety. And I mean, that's all I would say to people is, use some common sense, be smart, wear your mask. I go to church every Sunday and they've got it blocked off every other aisle. So everybody's doing a great job of trying to prevent this. But I just think people need to do the best job they possibly can about wearing their masks, social distancing. I still don't really go out to restaurants or places at all. Occasionally I do. I go get pickup or whatever, but this thing's a very serious thing, and it hit me hard. It's hit a lot of people hard, and I hope it doesn't hit more people. And again, all I want to say about it is, it is real. It is real, and it's not gone away. Even when the numbers are going down, What I worry about with everything opening up, more restaurants and liquor establishments and churches and different places that people go to, I worry about it spiking again. So, you know, I pray to God that it doesn't. I think our governor's done a great job in our state. I know a lot of people have been unhappy with her businesses, and I understand that side. Probably a lot of businesses have closed down because the governor shut everything down. But I think she's done a great job. She's probably saved thousands of lives, and I hope that we continue to follow rules and be safe, and hopefully we'll bring those numbers down to zero someday.
You know, a group of my friends were talking the other day, and if the governor needs a spokesperson to travel the state, she should call on you with your inspirational leadership, with this horrible experience that you've gone through. It's behind you now. You could really be a leader for the state of New Mexico. I hope she seeks you out to give you a government car to travel here, to travel there, your mask and all, and really spread the word, because you've seen the different approaches to the information. This network's talking one way, another network's talking another. They're down on these doctors that are predicting what to do, what's the most accurate procedure. But the governor stays constant. She hasn't wavered. She stood strong, and popularity polls and all of that. Maybe she made a few people mad, but I compliment our governor for being strong and thinking about how many lives she's saving. Many of my friends who watched her program said, wow, I better take this lady seriously, as they took you today as you got on this program. You got their undivided attention, Coach, and so has our governor. So I'd rather lean with you and her rather than somebody else that's just squawking without having it right in their immediate life. I say thank you to the governor. I say thank you to Judge Chavez for getting on today and really giving us the truth. Thank you for that.
Well, I think, thank you, Henry. I think the best thing about her, whether you like her or don't like her, you don't like her decisions or you do like them, she's been very consistent throughout. So I think the fact that she came down hard early, I appreciated that. And that was before me and my loved one even got sick. And she was very consistent about it. And I think that, like I said, she probably saved a lot of lives that we'll never know how many would have died if she had opened everything up. But the fact that she shut it down and has been very consistent about it, I truly believe she saved a lot of lives. And I applaud her for that. I think she's done a great job. And, other places, other states have not taken it as serious as we have, and they have more people dying. And again, I'm not wanting it to be a martyr, but when you deal with it, you have a whole different perspective on it. And the fact that I did, it upsets me when people don't take it serious. And I don't go out and preach to anybody at all. And they did an article in the paper about there's 3 coaches in Albuquerque that tested positive. And we talked about her, losing her. Um, I don't want to be somewhere people are feeling sorry, but I want to use our story, hers and mine, as a message to people to realize this thing is serious and it's not going away. Everybody's thinking, okay, we're opening everything up. The schools are open, churches are open. You can go to restaurants, you can go to bars, but it's still there. And, until the day when those numbers are zero positive and 0 deaths in the state, we still need to make sure we try to be very cautious about everything we do. Wear our mask, keep your distance, do all the things that, the state and our government is asking us to do to try to prevent any more people dying from this.
I don't want to give you another job, but what if the governor would say, Coach Chavez, I would love for you to travel the state and really send that message home. And those that are taking it lightly now, I want you to go take this message in your strongest way. Would you do that for the state?
I don't know, Henry. I really don't want to make this thing about me. I don't want to get attention from it because that's not what I wanted. I wanted to come on your show because we've been very, very good friends for probably 40 years. And I wanted to do this for you. But I'm really not into trying to promote myself, to use her death to make me in the public eye. I'm not about that. But I do want to send out that message that it is not a joke.
Yeah, I didn't intend to bring you on for your own self-popularity growth.
No, I know, I understand, Henry. I just, I'm very hesitant. Even with the newspaper, I thought, should I not do it? But then I thought, I'm going to do it. And again, for the same reason, to let people know it's not a joke. People need to understand, because I still hear people say, it's no big deal. It's like getting the flu. You're going to get it, because so many people get it and have survived. And so a lot of people think, it's not that big a deal. But, I lost one, and there's other people who've lost people. So it's not, it is a big deal. And, when I get an opportunity like on your show and in the newspaper, what I want to talk about again is that please try to be responsible. Wear your mask, keep your social distance. Think about other people. Some people say, I don't need to wear a mask. Well, you do need to wear a mask. Maybe you have it. And if you don't wear your mask, you're going to give it to other people. And a lot of these young kids say, well, it's no big deal, coach, because I'll get it and it's like the flu. But you've got grandparents. You've got parents.
Amen. Did we lose Judge? Well, if we could get him back on there real quick, I want to ask him about the student on campus, athletics, and there are a few more questions we need the judge to address. So Jimmy, our producer, is pursuing Coach Chavez right now, and we'll get him back on before we know it. But I was telling you about my 18 trips to Indianapolis a few minutes ago, and we'll try our darndest to get Judge back on so we can address what's going on campus, athletics, what's it like with the kids now being back to school, athletics, are we back to practice, are we playing again, so he can address those questions. But I was just saying that I'm going to get Al Linzer and Bobby on the air, and Rick Gallis and Jim Guthrie and all those people affiliated with the famous racetrack, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and recall their great moments. When you go back to Indy and they know you're from Albuquerque, Henry T became an immediate popular guy around there because Albuquerque is synonymous with Rick Gallis, Bobby Unser, Al Unser, Little Al, and Jim Guthrie, and all those mechanics. So we'll try here in a second to get the judge back. Jimmy. Okay, and Jimmy's going to get him back on. But it's that time of year. Starts getting warmer. You still the race this past weekend on the air on NBC, and and I watched the NASCAR yesterday as well. I'm Albuquerque's racing reporter because I seen it, and I know those people that jump in those cars. I met many race drivers, interviewed most of them, and the owners too. And I love my association, my friendship with Roger Penske. He respected the Unzers and Rick Gallis and Jim Guthrie. Wow. I mean, that was a friendship and a half. And I got to see the Unzers and Rick and Jim Guthrie work hard during the day, then they take care of their sponsors in the evening. I mean, the oil companies and the tire companies and whomever. And I was there. And then on time trial day, Henry T is there in the front row doing interviews, running all over that famous racetrack. And I doubt seriously if there's a reporter in our country that knows that track better than yours truly, or knows how to get around that track when things get busy. I knew the back roads. I was there for that special trip with Bobby and Big Al and Al Jr. and all of them as the police escorted us in the back roads and down alleys. And we got to the track because on race morning, impossible to go down the main road, 16th Street. No way. So we had state police had to take us back all around. And then suddenly we're at the track, and right there at Gasoline Alley, we depart the cars and then go to work. But with that, the first year I got there, I carried my camera. Oh, I mean, I didn't know until the second day, once I told Rick and the Unzers and how I struggled getting to the track on day one. So they helped me, became very close friends of mine. And I'll have Big Al on this week to talk about it. I'll go after Bobby and have him tell his story about his great experiences there. Bobby with 3 checkered flags, Big Al with 4, Little Al with 2, and Guthrie's still chasing his. But boy, do they have stories. I was there one day when Jim Guthrie got hurt. They had to take him to the hospital because his car in turn 2 landed on the top after a collision in turn 1. Oh, horrible. But the way those cars are made for safety, it's a miracle that Jim Guthrie made it through that. And Al and Bobby and Little Al, they've hit the wall before. They've hit other cars, but that equipment on that car saves lives. It's a remarkable story. And I hope I haven't been to my last Indy 500. Wow, what a place. Hey, let's see who sponsors the Henry T. Show. Amestoy Drywall, Rax Lumber, Richie Tabbitt, what a good guy, former starting quarterback at Berlin High School. Pierre Amestoy, former baseball star at Valley High School. And there they are. Ben Lucero, great track athlete at Mayfield, football star too. Almost went to the Olympic Games, had the wind not blown the high jump bar off. And it was like he realized, hey, the bar's still on. I'm in the pit. I'm going to get out of the pit. And then just then a little breeze came along and knocked the bar off the standard there. And he was, and then all of a sudden he wasn't going to the Olympic Games. And what a story. Those are our sponsors, and they really care about this show, and they want Henry T to be able to convey messages every day. And because of them, I do. Marty Seiss Insurance. And in fact, we're going to get ready to throw a commercial to Marty Seiss because he's recently made a commercial, especially for something that's going on that's timely. And my producer, Jim, will let me know when that commercial is ready. And we'll pitch to that commercial with our good neighbor, State Farm agent, Marty Seiss. So,
Henry, I'm back on. I don't know if you can hear me.
there you go, Judge. All right, buddy.
Sorry about that. My computer went down.
Man, I'll tell you, if you're computer literate like Henry T, then you're a champ because you got it back on. I would never know how to get it back on. I try hard, but man, you've come a long way with the computer education, Judge.
Well, I'll tell you what, the beginning of the school year, I was about ready to resign because everything was done online. I said, I can't do this. And my fellow colleagues said, don't worry about it. We'll help you. Like everything else, I learned it. So I'm not real good with it, but I learned it well enough to do my job here at school. And I was able to get back on now. I apologize for that.
You know, that's really what the direction I wanted to go right now. What education is like for our kids right now who are attending class? Do they do it on computer, or is it different now that they're on campus?
Well, I don't know about, the regular classrooms, but for us in PE, it's been very obviously different for everybody. For the first 3 quarters of the year, they were doing it from home. And, it was online physical education, which I've never taught that way. I'm sure kids have never had PE that way. And now that they're back, half of the period, they are online still. And then the other half, we take them outside and walk the track. We're not allowed to use the locker rooms. They're not allowed to dress out. We're not allowed to use any equipment. So the only thing we can basically do is walk them on the track so they can get some exercise. The kids have been very good about following rules. I was really concerned when the kids came back that we'd have to be fighting with them about put your mask on, do this, do that. They've been very, very cooperative. But, I think the kids have lost out so much socially. We only were able to play three football games, which, takes away from a regular 10-game season. There was no state championship. Basketball is getting to play more. The spring sports, I think, are going to be able to even do more than the winter sports. But it's had to have been tough on kids. Part of going to school is socializing. And I see the kids now, they don't really socialize as much. They're in the gym and the bleachers on their computers. And there's not a whole lot of socialization, which is sad because, they've lost a year basically of their life of being able to do things the way they're supposed to. Of course, we all have. We've all lost a year of our life how to do things what we were accustomed to doing. But as we talked earlier, I hope that this thing is going to go away. And again, the only way it's going to go away is if we follow rules and try to do the best we can, get our vaccination, keep our masks on, do all those things. And hopefully when we get back in August, that things will go back to what will so-called be normal by then.
A sidelight to what you're saying, there were athletes that were really looking forward to their senior year, and they had written letters from prospective schools that they were going to attend on scholarship. How many percentage wise would you guess kids that knew they were going to get a scholarship, they no longer have that scholarship coming because
Well,
what's happened?
I don't think, you may think you have one, but there are some kids. There's a kid from Los Angeles. I can't remember his name, but he had already committed to UCLA, so he opted out to play this year. There's a kid at Cleveland that's got a full ride to UNM, and he did play. But the ones that were suffering from this are kids who, I mean, a lot of kids don't have their great year till their senior year, and so many of those kids may have missed out on getting a scholarship. How many, I don't know, but it's very unfortunate. And then we had cases. A lot of our seniors chose not to come out this year. Probably one of our best ones said, "You know what, coach, I want to be he's a 4.0 student, says, I want to be a dentist, and I got an internship with a dentist, and it's just not worth it for me to play 3 weeks to give that up." So I think there were a lot of situations like that where the seniors said they've moved on. A lot of them are getting ready for college, getting ready for, a lot of them went to work because they never knew if we were going to play or not. And it was very unfortunate for them because, we started summer practice, we got 1 day in, and then they shut us down. Then they said we'd play in the fall, a shorter schedule. And that didn't happen. Then we were going to play in January. That didn't happen. Then we got to February. And, a lot of those kids just finally said, Coach, I'm done. I'm moving on. Our team was composed of, half of them were freshmen. And we had a handful of sophomores and handful of juniors. We didn't have a lot of kids out, but we only had 4 seniors, I believe. And a lot of those seniors moved on, and it's sad. I felt bad for the seniors last year in the spring because they missed out on their senior year of spring sports. They missed out on the prom, they missed out on graduation, all those things. The kids have had to go through a whole lot, and we're trying to make it up the best we can. There's talk about us having graduation at community stadium, and the kids can only have, I think, 2 people there. Um, I've told our kids a long time ago, everything is subject to change. What I tell you today could change tomorrow, and I just think people have to learn to live that way right now. It's affected everybody. People have lost their jobs. We didn't come to school. Um, People just had to adjust on a daily basis, and it's been very frustrating for me. I'm sure it's been very frustrating for everybody, but um, it's a life lesson, Henry. It's something that we have no control over, and we can't do anything about it other than try to make it better as far as taking care of ourselves. But it's the one thing I preach is you guys have got to learn there's going to be adversity in your life, and you're going to have to overcome it. And this is a big adversity that none of us ever thought we'd have to deal with. But we are in the real world, and we do have to deal with this. And I spend a lot of time trying to teach kids there are more important things than playing high school football. If the worst thing that happens to a kid is he didn't get to play his senior year of high school football, he's going to have a pretty good life. So that's the approach I've tried to teach my kids is that, I'm sorry you didn't get to play your senior year, but you still got your whole life ahead of you, and you need to make sure that you take care of business and have a good quality life, get an education, find a job. You're going to get married someday, have kids, raise a family. You still have all that to look forward to, even though you didn't get a chance to play your last year or didn't get a chance to go to the prom or your graduation was very small or whatever. I think that's the approach. And that's why I always talk about the glass is always half full. It's never half empty. So you approach life. What's the next chapter? Because that chapter was going to come anyway. You were going to finish your senior year. You were going to go to graduation. You were going to have a prom. You're going to play your last football game. And you were going to go on to that next chapter of your life anyway. So now that it's just gotten here a little sooner, a little bit different, and move on. Keep that glass half full all the time. And make sure that the next step is going to be a positive one. Overcome adversity. Make sure that you don't make the same mistakes you made yesterday and continue on in life and try to have a better life than you did the day before.
Wow. See what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? The special gift that Coach Chavez has. Man, he hit me hard with all of that. And it really stuck and it really hit home because he's home. Because I've known him all my life. And the story about his beautiful mom, 96 years of age. Wow. And what an inspirational lady, Coach. I know where you got most of your personality.
Well, I'll tell you what, Henry, I'm 61 years old and I still got some little lady telling me what to do all the time. You need to get home earlier. You need to be careful doing this. You need to do this. You need to do that. I said, Mom, I'm 61 years old. I don't care. As long as I'm alive, I'm going to tell you what to do. And I've been blessed and fortunate to have her, you know, as long as she's been around 96 years. And I cherish every moment I get a chance to spend with her.
Wow. And I remember so well when I would broadcast Highland Hornet games and Cibola games and any game that you were involved in, she would be on the front row. You made sure of it that she was on that bus and going to get escorted to the best seat in the house. You really made her life happy, as did Jerry, your brother, and Larry. Uh, you involved mom in everything you guys were all about, and that was her life, is attending to you as mom, but in a football bus with all the players and whatever's going on. You've made her happy as well. I've seen it up close. Man, she's always so proud of you and Larry and Jerry. What a story that is.
Well, she's very proud of all three of us. We've all been fortunate that our lives have been good, and that's a reflection of my mother and my father, and of course with me, it's also a reflection of my brothers, everything that they taught me growing up because they're 10 and 12 years older than me, and I always looked up to them, and they were great role models. But my mom was very proud of all of us. People say your mom must be very proud of you. I said she is, but she's proud of my oldest brother, who is a businessman. She's proud of Jerry, my middle brother, because he was an educator and an athletic director, activities director. Um, we've all been very fortunate to have successful careers. And again, that's due to the way we were raised by both my mother and my father. And, I lost my father at a pretty early age. And she kind of has been both mom and dad, making sure we do things right. And I'm telling you, uh, she's still on my butt right now. So, um, she wanted to go to my games now, but it's just very difficult for her to get around. And but she, calls me before the game. Good luck, son. Calls me after. How'd you do? So she's been my biggest fan of my whole coaching career, well, playing career and coaching career. So very blessed to still have her. I love her very much.
You tell her for Henry T what an honor it was for her to involuntarily call the number to my radio station. She didn't need your permission or Jerry or Larry. She impulsively called my sports show and got on the air. And I'll never forget how much I enjoyed her and the audience enjoyed her.
Well, I'll tell you, I was driving to Highland one day early in the morning. You used to have your early show, and you said, "Well, we got a special guest on this morning, Ralph Judge Chavez's mother, Josephine." I go, "What, Mom? What are you doing on the radio?" And then she started talking. She said, "I don't know why he doesn't throw the ball more. He doesn't do this." I said, "Mom, I got enough critics in the stands." I said, "I don't need you to be telling me what to do." But she loved getting on your show. It was pretty amazing.
It was amazing. Judge, as we wrap up our interview today, man, you're in a profession that builds people. And I see how they built you up as well. It's a double dose of character building. They for you and you for them. And all of the players that have been around you all these years. And I've watched them come back and shake your hand and say, Coach, thank you for your leadership during those special times of their life. What does that mean to you?
I'll tell you what it means, Henry. When I lost my loved one, they showed up like crazy. Coach, what can we do for you? What do you need? Bringing food, uh, checking on me, just being there for me. And these are guys I coached 20 years ago. Uh, that bond never goes away. And I always tell them, you guys call me judge. You're grown men now. You got your own families, and you're a grown man. You got profession. Coach can never call you that. Could never call you judge. So, um, I'll be coach forever. And my high school coach, I couldn't call him by his first name, and I'm 61 years old, and I couldn't. There's no way I could call him by his first name.
What an endearing word, the word coach. What do you think?
Uh,
It's like doctor. Hey, coach. Hello, doctor. That's what it is to me. I can't call Coach Ottman Jim. No way. Jim is not in my heart. Coach Ottman is.
well, when you take on a profession where you are a leader, there's a lot of responsibility that goes with that. And I take great pride in being a coach, and I take great pride in someone calling me coach. And because of that, I have to always remember that I have to be at a certain standard so that, you know, look, I became coach because of my coaches. Um, you know, I've had coaches, kids that play for me who become coaches and coach with me. Now I'm coaching against. I've had 11 former assistants become head coaches, and I'm proud of that. And I like to think that I must have made so much an impact on them that they chose to become a head coach, and I'm very proud of those guys. And it's just one of those professions that, um, everywhere you go into the grocery store. Hey, coach, how's it going? People I don't even know. In church, hey, coach, good game last night. Um, around campus, everybody knows. Hey, coach, everybody knows who you are. So um, I don't do it because I want anything for me. It's just what the profession I've chosen, and I want to give back, and I want to share my knowledge, and I want to try and prepare young adults to be successful in life.
Hey, here's a sideways question. I'm going to blindside you. Greatest quarterback in the history of high school football in Albuquerque. Zach Gentry, Jim Everett, Eddie Abreu, Bobby Newcomb. Take your pick.
Well, I'm very, very biased, but my opinion is Bobby Newcomb. I think Bobby Newcomb was probably the greatest athlete to come out of the state of New Mexico. Now, someone may want to argue with that, but if they do, he's got to be included in at least the top five to ever come out of New Mexico. He was, the Gatorade Player of the Year in football. He was a Gatorade Player of the Year in basketball. He was a Gatorade Player in track. He won the 100, the 200, the 400, the long jump, and anchored the 4x1 for state championship. I mean, he was an amazing athlete. And the great thing about him, which I'm sure the other ones too, all the great ones, he was the first one at practice. He was the last one to leave. He never missed practice. He was close to being a 4.0 student, so he never had to worry about grades. He wasn't out drinking and partying and doing things that a lot of players do. You try to teach them not to. Um, and I'm sure the other great ones were just like that, But being the fact that I had an opportunity to see him every day, most of my great players, you'd see them have a great play in a game and go, man, that was amazing. Bobby every day would do something in practice where you go, oh my God, there's another thing he did. He was so amazing every day. It was like, I can't believe he did that. And then, of course, every game, you knew he was going to do something. But again, being the fact that I was his coach, I think he was the greatest ever.
Wow. And give me one word to describe Jim Everett that you could call.
Well, he was playing high school ball when I was first getting started. And then, of course, he went on to play college and professional. Um, the things I've heard about him are a lot of the same things that I'm telling you about Bobby. He was a very intelligent player, a great student, a hard worker, very competitive. And again, we can go down the list of all the ones you're going to ask me about. They all had those same traits, or else they would not have been where they got. They're all hard workers. They're all, God-given talent, but I've seen a lot of God-given talent that was wasted because they didn't want to work hard. They didn't want to make grades. They didn't want to do the things it took to be a great player. And if you get to the NFL, you got Zach Gentry in the NFL. You had Jim Everett in the NFL, Bobby Newcomb in the NFL. There's a reason why, and it's because of their work ethic. They did things right. And when these college coaches come in and ask about players, they ask about their playing ability, but they also ask about their character. What kind of kid is he? What does he do off the field? What's he like around campus? And those great recruiters, they talk to their teachers, they talk to the counselors, they talk to principals. They want to talk to anybody and comes in contact with those kids. And the great ones, every one of those people they talk to will say, he does this right, he does that right, they do everything right. And that's why they get to the level where they're at.
Final question. Did it bother you that Michigan turned Zach Gentry into a tight end?
Well, yeah, I mean, because you would love to have seen him play his career as a quarterback, but um, the fact that he was such a great athlete, he ended up getting drafted in the NFL as a tight end. Now, it would have been great if he was in the NFL as a quarterback, but there's not many people who get a chance to play in the NFL, and thank God he was able to do that. But yeah, I would have loved to see him be the quarterback in Michigan.
You go have a great day. You made ours. God
Well,
bless
thank you, Henry. I always love being on your shows. I appreciate everything you've done for me since I was in high school. You've really made my career a lot more successful by promoting me and having me on your shows and giving me an opportunity to share my life with people and my experiences. And I want to thank you very much for that.
We
I'll
love
be on anytime you want me to.
you. Amen. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Later.
Today we close our show with a commercial about Marty Seiss, our good neighbor State Farm agent, Marty Seiss.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Later.
Today we close our show with a commercial about Marty Seiss, our good neighbor State Farm agent, Marty Seiss.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
All right.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Seiss in Albuquerque today.
Marty Seiss,
Like a good neighbor,
our good neighbor
State Farm is there.
Farm agent. Wow, Marty Seiss, great guy, great leader, and also a friend of Judge Chavez. You go have a great day, be safe, and take Judge Chavez lesson today. Take that COVID seriously. And thank you to our governor for making sure that all New Mexicans take it seriously. Have a great day. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you. And thank you, Jimmy, our producer, for doing what he does for all of us. Take care. See you Wednesday. Thank you. Too long, or did we go over? Awesome. Thank you, guys. Take care. All right, buddy. Take care. Thank you. Thank you.